Hi, I'm Lisa Matovich Brooke, and I'm here today to talk to you about stress and burnout and how you can overcome and deal with stress and burnout. I'm Lisa Matovich Brooke. I've been a counselor for over 20 years. I deal with PTSD, depression, stress, and trauma in my everyday work. I'm now training to be a mindfulness coach and a life coach that helps people reach their passion and their goals without becoming stressed out and overwhelmed. I help people to get to where they really want to be in life, to find a plan for their career or for their small business. So I use a lot of techniques that help people with that. But I always want to be helping people so that they don't become overly stressed or overwhelmed. Stress is something that we always face in life. Sometimes stress can be a good thing. It can motivate us to finish a book report or to turn in work by tomorrow or by our deadline. It can be a motivator. But when we are stressed out constantly, it can be something that can really harm our health. If we live in a state of constant stress, then this is what leads to burnout. We know a lot more about stress than we used to. A lot of our brain has the fight or flight motion when we get stressed out. Sometimes our brain doesn't always interpret what we're stressed about. If we say, oh, the boss is going to kill me if I don't get this report in, and we're working furiously, your heart rate, your adrenaline might kick in, your heart starts beating faster. It's the same a way that, like, if you were to run from a tiger or something, that your brain also sees this as a fear and puts your adrenaline, kicks your body into full gear, and you have to run from the tiger. When you're running from the tiger, all the cortisol and the adrenaline is a necessary thing. It helps you to get away, to breathe quicker, make you more alert. When we're constantly always using the fight or flight or the stress hormone, it stresses our body. Cortisol has a lot of negative responses when our body is constantly flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. One of the most important research findings that they have found is how children respond to long-term stress. It used to be, I know when I was first started to be a counselor, it was, children are very resilient. They can handle a lot of stress, so they're just fine. Well, they did the adult childhood adverse scale study, came out of in the 1980s when Kaiser International insurance company decided to study the things that made people obese, and they worked with all different types of socioeconomic and education levels, but all the things that people had in common was they're obese. And they found that so many of the people that were very obese had gone through a lot of childhood stressors. From childhood, they were abused as a child, sexually abused as a child, parent was an alcoholic, parent had been divorced, might have a parent incarcerated, parent death or loss. There's a whole list. And a lot of times people that were very obese and had trouble losing weight, they found that they had a lot of these childhood stressors. They thought this was very interesting, started studying more. So soon they did find that people that had more mental illness, as well as other health problems from health issues such as heart problems and other diseases, a lot of times had a lot of these childhood stressors. So, and some of the theories believed that when a child, each factor that a child has of these, like 1 point for if they were child abuse or victim of child abuse, 2 if they're a victim of child abuse, sexual abuse, each incident gives them another point. And they found people that had 4 of these had much higher incident of mental illness or the other health problems as compared to people that had 1 or fewer. One of their hypotheses is that cortisol, the stress hormone, is always coursing through the body, and the cortisol harms how the young child's body is growing and how the body reacts to the cortisol. It's not good for the body is what they surmise. Now they are trying to really help people that are children that are having high levels of stress. They're bringing mindfulness and meditation into schools and counseling and having trauma-informed schools so that they can correct some of the things that are happening that help stop children to be so stressed out. If you are a person that had a lot of stressful events as a child, then you might be more susceptible to stress, burnout, mental illness, and other things. And there's still things that you can do, such as mindfulness, meditation, and many other things that can help you to overcome some of the ill effects of stress. And even if you never have had anything negative in your life, that you are still very susceptible to stress and to burnout. One of the things that I'm going to teach you, and this is very good to teach children or anyone, is deep breathing. And I know you're going, oh, deep breathing, that is so cliche. I know how to breathe. Well, a lot of times when I have my clients do deep breathing, I'll say, do a deep breath in and out, and they'll just like really quickly and that's it. To really help decrease stress, you need to breathe out very slowly. This engages the vagal nerve. The vagal nerve runs through the back of their head, through the heart, and then down to the stomach. So when the vagal nerve is very tight, you feel like your stomach is not, your heart, your chest is tight. You feel very anxious. So one way to decrease stress and just to loosen the vagal nerve is to take a deep breath in very, very slowly, but to let it out even more slowly. So I'm going to have you breathe in to the count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now breathe out slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You should feel a little relaxed. Maybe notice that your shoulders released. May feel a little calmer. We're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Every time you breathe in and out like this, it helps your mind to calm down, helps you to feel more focused, and helps you to be more in the moment. What I recommend is, especially if you're going through a stressful time, is to do this every 30 minutes, like to do deep breathing, or if you're going and you feel panicky, to deep breathe. But to remember to breathe out really slowly. You can do this for a minute or two. Some people have the Apple Watch that says breathe for a minute. That's great to do, but just remember to do it really slowly, because if you don't breathe out slowly, you don't engage the vagal nerve and help it to be relaxed. Deep breathing is one of the most important things you can do. I know it sounds so basic. Helps get your heart rate down, helps you deal with stress. A lot of times when people do get very stressed, their heart rate becomes very high. And I'm also going to talk about people that have had a lot of past trauma or even have PTSD or anxiety. Sometimes people that have had post-traumatic stress disorder will always feel very anxious and will have like higher heart rates. It's found like in children, which usually don't have that high of a heart rate. Kids that have been very traumatized have a high heart rate. And so that's a special thing that the deep breathing can help children or adults to really to calm their heart rate down and get it to a more in range normal heart rate. It's very important to do that. Another thing, some of these things seem so simple, but people don't do them, is everyone, I think a lot of times people think meditation is, some Buddhist guy sitting there going, humming or something. Meditation is any like kind of relaxing thing that is different religions. Praying the rosary can be a meditation. Buddhists meditate. I was just in Rapid City, I think it's called Chapel of the Little Hill. They had a meditation walk where you walk, and they had various saints and the Virgin Mary, where you just, kind of are very in the moment, and your mind is very present, you're very aware. And it's something that helps people to calm their mind and help them to be less stressed. So I'm going to teach you what I guess you can say is a meditation, but it is very just one word in and one word out. A lot of times take a deep breath in and think to yourself, inhale, and slowly let it out, and think exhale. Then think in, inhale, and exhale. This is very easy. It's something that kids can do, that anyone can do. For example, my meditation teacher said that she always does this in busy airports because they're so overwhelming. I went to Orlando with my kids. I got very overwhelmed. It was huge. And I started doing this, and you're just, it's something you can do and walk. You don't have to say it out loud, is inhale and outhale. It's very calming. And it just kind of helps you focus, and then focus on one word or two words. Sometimes when people think, oh, I'm not able to meditate, and usually they think, that they're just focusing on their breathing, and they just focus on their breath and they can't concentrate. A good way is to do just the one word. You can think of your one word in and one word out. And like some people say, to think of breathing in calm and then breathe out stress. It's think of the word calm when you breathe in, and then breathe out stress. This can be just something that you can do for a few minutes, however long that you need to do, and it's very calming. Mindfulness and meditation have been found by stress to help people decrease their stress. There's even been found that mindfulness practice has helped people to decrease depression. There's been some studies by research that they even found differences in brain parts of the brain with the amygdala and some stress responses after 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation, which is really kind of interesting because you usually don't think of mindfulness and helping depression. It's more for anxiety, stress. And what mindfulness is just kind of what I just taught you about, especially like the breathing, because you're very focused in the present, and you should be very focused on breathing in and out. And when you're mindful, you're just very in the moment. Your brain isn't distracted. You're not going around and being very, thinking about the future. Like when we're worrying all the time, we're not mindful because we're thinking about things that are going to happen in the future. That can be very anxiety producing. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But when you're really focused or present, you're like right in the future. If you're depressing, or you're thinking about the past, or worrying about the past, or isn't that awful, you're not in the moment either. Being in the moment helps you to really get the most out of life because you're enjoying the wonderful things that are going on in the moment. So those are very good things that you can do. A mindful practice just helps you to focus. It's not always easy to stay in the moment. Sometimes it's like training your mind. One way to become more mindful is just when you're outside, just to be kind of like really looking around and, maybe slowing down and walking a little slower to be mindful and to be in the moment. That is one way you can have focus. Mindfulness helps you to really concentrate and do a better job on your projects because it's all about focus. And it can help you to be less stressed. Another way to help with mindfulness or meditation, there's a lot of apps out there. There's the Calm app, or another one I really like is Insight Timer, and to listen to guided meditations, or to listen to many different meditations, but they will kind of teach you to do. You can do them for 5 minutes a day, and those are things that can really help you. I'm going to come back and we're going to start a mindfulness meditation that helps with anxiety and stress, in just a few minutes. Thanks.